Yeah, you read the title right. If you're doing fix and flip, then your cash flow is dead. Hey Daniel, do me a favor. Cue in that intro, please. Hey, how's it going, friend? Juan Pablo here, full-time real estate investor, online entrepreneur. And on this channel, I'm glad you found it, we like to discuss the 3 pillars to financial freedom: personal finance, funding, and real estate investing with emphasis on multi-units and multi-family properties. And if you're new, just go ahead and like and subscribe to this channel and share the video to a friend or family member who can also benefit. So that way YouTube, Google, the algorithm can do its thing and provide you with additional videos to help you along your journey towards financial freedom. So without further ado, let's dive into the topic. All right, so let's talk about the fix and flip strategy, right? So fix and flip is when you acquire distressed property, you add value to it, you do some renovations, repairs, or what have you. And once the renovations are done, you end up selling it at the market, hopefully top of the market, so that way you can make a profit. So in other words, that's buy low, sell high. Many people think about that in investing. However, I do want to share with you this, some of the things that make fixing and flipping dead, especially where your cash flow is concerned. First thing is this: fix and flip is not investing. It's not. It's not buying and holding. Because buy and hold is investing, meaning I'm doing my own due diligence, I'm doing the research, I'm raising capital, I'm looking at the property and the markets and so forth. I'm acquiring an asset and I'm holding on to it for the long haul until it gets on my last nerves or is on its last leg, because it will produce me passive income that would afford my lifestyle. Now, when you do fix and flip, that's not an investment. Sure, you may be acquiring an asset for the short term, and then you sell that asset to make a profit. However, it does not produce passive income. It doesn't produce residual income. It doesn't produce dividends. It doesn't produce rental income. It does not produce cash flow. Same thing goes for day trading. Right? You buy a stock low, you sell it high. Sure, you can make a short-term profit. However, it's not passive. So I guess to my second point. Your cash flow is dead is because it is not passive. In other words, it's active. It's active income, meaning you actually have to actively work on this asset. Don't get me wrong. When you're buying a multifamily property for buy and hold rental purposes, of course, you have to do some work. There's some work in the front end though. But once you own that property and you have property management in place, the time you spend on being the asset manager managing that property is minimal. Trust me, it's not going to be 40 hours a week. It's not even going to be 10 hours a week, maybe 4 hours a week, just to make sure that that asset that you purchase is still producing dividends, cash flow in this case. But when you do fix and flip, the time involved, especially in the beginning, right? If you're new, that's something in my eye. But if you're new, the time you spend will be enormous. Why? Because you have to learn project management. You also got to learn how to manage contractors. You also got to make sure that you coordinate with the hard money lender. There's a lot of work involved. I've done about 4 flips in my day, and each and every one of them require time. Way more time than it did rental income. Don't get me wrong. When you get started, yes, there's going to be more time involved because you're learning something new, you're doing something new. But once you go on, especially with fix and flip, sure, you can perfect it. You can optimize the system, hire teams and so forth. However, until you get to that point, it's going to be more active than passive. All right, and just to be clear, the only exception to that is if you actually converted fix and flip to a full-fledged business, meaning you have team members in place in which you're not lifting a finger. But until you get to that point and you are lifting all the fingers, all 10 of them, doing all the work all over the place, then it's definitely going to be active for you. Here's the third thing. Oh, and by the way, I do have a video here that I want to share with you. I discussed the BRRRR strategy as well, being the slowest way to financial freedom. So pretty much the slow way is buying a distressed asset that requires a lot of work. Sure, there's value, but that's called a value play. You got to buy a distressed asset, put a lot of value into it until you can actually reap the benefits. So I have a video in the description that I want to share with you, so just make sure you take a look at the video below. But when you're doing these strategies of buying a distressed asset, the BRRRR strategy, fix and flip strategy, fix and rent strategy, it takes a lot of time and you incur a lot of holding costs. So that's the third thing I want to get into. Most often when you're getting started with fix and flip, you're using hard money. And hard money is a lender in which they'll lend you money to buy the property and fix it up, but they want an expensive interest rate, and they also want their money back in a short time frame, maybe 12 months or less. And they charge you points too. So that's why it's called hard money, because the terms are really hard. And as a result of using hard money, you do have to outlay some cash. These are the holding costs I made reference to. So if you're buying a distressed property and you got to pay the hard money lender their monthly interest rate, which can be 10%, 12%, 15%. I've done hard money and I paid 12% on some deals and 15% on some deals. Don't get me wrong, I still made a profit, but I did have to pay that monthly interest payment on a consistent basis, right? And that can hurt for some. So you do have to outlay that, the hard money loan and so forth. You also have to outlay cash towards some of the repairs. You might be thinking, hey, Juan Pablo, I thought you mentioned that hard money covers repair costs. Yes, but they typically reimburse you for the repairs that were completed. So for instance, let's say the first phase of doing the fix and flip is buying materials and demolition, right? So when you're doing that first phase, you typically have to outlay cash out of your own pocket to be able to start that first phase. So you might have to pay some handyman or contractors or what have you, subcontractors, to demo out the place, get a dumpster and so forth, and buy materials. You more than likely to come out of pocket for that. And then once the hard money lender and his or her team inspects that phase one was completed, they'll reimburse you. Okay, so that's good, but sometimes they might say, well, we only do 2 reimbursements or what have you, because every hard money lender is different. They're all private. I work with 3 different hard money lenders. They're all different. Okay, so you do have to explore how they do the payouts with the phases once that's completed. And then you also got to pay for insurance, you got to pay for taxes, you got to pay for utilities. So you have to do a lot of holding costs. And if your goal is to become financially free, this produces a negative cash flow situation for you. If you really think about it, it's not adding cash flow into your pocket. It's taking cash flow out of your pocket until that property is fixed up. Now that's why I love doing buy and hold multifamily properties, because as soon as I put, let's say, my down payment or what have you, as soon as I close, I'm cash flowing day one of closing. Meaning on the settlement statement on the HUD, there's a line item called rent prorations and security deposit credits. So when I close on that property, let's say I close on the 10th day of the month. The first 9 days of the month gets credited to the seller as rent for him or her. The other latter days of the month, let's say the 10th through 30th, 31st day, whatever, how long the month is, that gets credited to me. So I'm already cash flowing. And then all the security deposits for those tenants get transferred over to me as well. So that's what I mean by cash flowing day one of closing. And I have a video recommendation below as well that discuss cash flow and all that good stuff. So make sure you check the link below to learn more. So that's my argument right there. That's my argument, friend, is when you want to do fix and flip, it's dead, especially where your cash flow is concerned. Now, some people do this. Now, we'll make this exception because I just want to make sure we cover all angles. If you're doing fix and flip as a strategy to fund your multifamily properties, then that could be a wise thing. But you have to make sure you can outlay the cash, have the time invested that I discussed earlier, to be able to do the flip right, and then use those proceeds to fund your multifamily portfolio. Because flipping is a job, right? It requires time, or it's a business. So you want to make sure that your business income can produce massive income, so that massive income can fund your passive income through your multifamily properties. Okay, but when you just do flips it's just a lot of work. All right, and I'm not saying that you can't make it work, but if you truly want to become financially free in the shortest amount of time possible, then I highly recommend it for you to pour all your resources, meaning your time, your energy, your capital, into buying whole multifamily properties. So that way you can exit the 9-to-5 as quickly as possible. Now, if you're interested in learning more about how you can invest in multi-units and multifamily properties using creative financing, the buy and hold strategy, then I have a video for you to take a look at, to check out. Just check the link below in the description to learn more. As always, guys, this is to your success. Continue to earn passively, live passionately. Peace.